And we are very pleased and honored to be joined by Coach Geoff Collins of Georgia Tech. Coach, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I know you've had quite a busy day, hopefully a day that makes you very happy, but thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, appreciate you guys having me on. It's actually a great signing day. Proud of our staff, our recruiting staff, doing such great work. It's also my 25th wedding anniversary.
Oh, wow. Oh,
congratulations. Mazel tov, as some people say.
I met my wife at 5:22 this morning when I left, and then I just got to the house, and she was rocking my 4.5-year-old daughter to sleep, gave them a kiss, and now I get to hang out with you guys. So
you know, the thing is, when you got married, there was no December signing day, so you had no idea this would actually be a complicated day going forward, right?
There's no doubt. One of our young assistants asked earlier, you had your wedding on signing day? I'm like, no, in the past there, buddy.
Catch up to the rest of us. Right? Yeah. Well, Coach, just give us a real quick rundown on the guys you signed today, and, you know, what do they mean for the future of the program?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm taking a year back. This is our second full recruiting class. Last year's was the highest rated class in school history, or the second highest rated class in school history. But then when they re-ranked it during the season, Jeff Sims, Jameer Gibbs, Jordan Williams, true freshmen playing for us at a high level, Jared Ivey, Kyle Kennard, they re-ranked us the 8th ranked class in the country. So really proud of the work our guys did developing last year's class. And then it's another highly ranked class. I think they've got us in the top 20 again. So just the guys that we bring into this program are committed to building something special right here in Atlanta, the capital of college football. And we're fired up to be the city of Atlanta's college football power.
Coach Rusty Mansell here, 24/7. I absolutely love this kid. I did not realize, seeing him in person, how big he was. Leo Blackburn from Westlake. I went to see those guys practice, and I remember telling the coach, I said, oh, my goodness, this guy is – listen, he reminds me a lot of Eric Gilbert. He's not quite as big weight-wise, but athletic and long and build and ball skills. Coach, talk about him. I know you had to fight some guys off for him late.
There's no doubt. Everybody was coming after him. We did a great job developing the relationship early. Sure. He was one of the last guys, the last days before we got shut down early in March, had him sitting in my office.
Wow.
I mean, he takes up the entire room with his length, with his personality. And I think he has just played himself into being one of the top players in the country. He's right in our backyard. Very similar last year to Jameer Gibbs.
Sure.
Jameer Gibbs kind of flew under the radar early. We knew what a special talent he was. And then, you know, got in on him early, committed to us early. And then he had a monster senior year. It's very similar to how Leo has done it. And just so proud that he stuck with us, and he understands what we're building. The success of Jeff Sims that we had at quarterback this year, you know, made those receivers really want to be a part of what we've got building. But yeah, Leo, tremendous talent. Him and Ja'Kiah Leftwich both committed to us out of Westlake, and he's another 6'6", 6'7", 320-pound offensive lineman, and so it's an exciting time. But yeah, he's a big time talent.
Two kids I've covered since they seems like 7th grade, but they transferred into your program. You're talking about Kenyatta Watson and Kevin Harris, two young men out of the Grayson program that were absolutely, you know, you look at an edge rusher in Kevin Harris, and Kenyatta Watson had one of the best Nike Spark scores ever at a 6'2" corner. Tell me how excited you are to have those two young men playing for you, because I'm telling you right now, those guys can be difference makers pretty quick.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And they're great guys, too, getting to know them. One of my first recruiting visits that I ever took as the head coach at Georgia Tech was up to Grayson.
Sure.
Kenyatta got a great relationship with his dad. And obviously he went to Texas first. But I've said ever since I got hired here at Georgia Tech that we're going to make the city of Atlanta, Georgia Tech, a destination spot for the best talent in the country. And we're blessed that not only are they great players, highly rated, Rivals 100, and all those kind of things, but tremendous workers. They love the game. They love the process. There's not a time that I don't talk to Kenyatta or FaceTime him that he's not going to a workout, in the midst of a workout, or coming back from a workout or rehab session. And that just speaks volumes to how they understand, after being at the big time program that Grayson is, They understand the process, understand taking care of their body, and preparing to be elite players in college and beyond.
One more player, because I love the game of football in the state of Georgia, high school football. This kid just popped immediately on me. Caleb Edwards, I know you had a big recruiting win to keep him in from Decula.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about him and what you expect out of him playing for you.
Yeah, he does everything for that program, man. He does a great job playing wildcat quarterback, playing corner, playing nickel, playing safety. One of the top high jumpers in the great state of Georgia, and just how he plays the game. He's the son of a coach.
Yep.
And just when you get to know him, I will never forget the first Zoom call that I had with Caleb Edwards and his family, and his just infectious energy, how good he really wants to be, how he's willing to work for it. And that's what we preach in our program. And he wants the challenge of going to one of the top academic schools in the country, playing football at a high level, and he's one of the best players, highest rated players in the state of Georgia. And for him to choose to stay at home in the city of Atlanta, that speaks a lot for what we're building here and the kind of caliber of young men and players we're bringing in here.
Coach, I know in your first class last year, or your first true full class, getting bigger on both lines of scrimmage was a big deal to you. Were you continuing? Are you continuing to be able to do that here? Are you where you want to be there?
Did y'all see Zeke Biggers? Zeke Biggers is a 6'6", 320-pound defensive tackle that chose to come play for us here at Georgia Tech. So that's a priority. We signed 2 defensive ends last year. Kyle Kennard, Jared Ivey, both 6'6" defensive ends. Played a ton for us as true freshmen. And then Noah Collins, Josh Robinson, Keon White, Kevin Harris, length and range and speed coming off that edge. I've been able to be blessed to coach some elite defenses in college football throughout my career, and you build that up front, and the size, the length, the speed, the athleticism that we've been able to acquire on both sides of the line is huge. We will have 5 offensive or defensive linemen here in about 3 weeks. That'll be new guys, 13 guys total at the mid-year. And those are going to be huge to add to what we've already been able to develop, this being our second full recruiting cycle.
You got so many guys, young guys, able to get on the field, whether they had to this year just for other reasons or not. But what kind of a selling point is that to show guys, we're going to get you out of high school and you're going to be on the field pretty soon?
Yeah, we played Notre Dame, which at the time was the 3rd-ranked team in the country. I think we played 16-18 true freshmen in a game that we were in well into the 4th quarter. And just to see those young guys out there competing and balling against a program that's been built and developed over a 12-year period, a tremendous amount of respect for what they do. But those young guys that we had out there battling and fighting, and even down the stretch, even more and more were having to play for whatever reason, and didn't look for excuses, just went out there and played and contributed and got better. And it just bodes well for what we're building here in the city of Atlanta.
Speaking of your personnel issues, the big disappointment that the game with Miami not going to happen this week, how much is it for your staff and your players, maybe a sigh of relief to say we're finally done with this crazy COVID season?
Yeah, it's been, but I've been so proud of this group. I mean, there's been things that happened here that have never happened in the history of college football. We went 4 weeks, middle of the season, where we did not play a game. The guys stayed engaged. They kept bonding. They kept coming out. 3 tests a week, practice every day. We threw in some kickball tournaments. We threw in some dodgeball tournaments to break up the monotony. And then after that 28-day hiatus, they had us play 3 games in 13 days. And there were only 2 games that we truly had a full roster. That was the Louisville game. That was the Duke game. Our guys balled out. And just regardless of what the situation, what we were going through, the guys stayed engaged. They kept getting better. And whoever was out there on the field competed and played as hard as they possibly could for the culture, for each other. And just really proud of what we've been able to build and continue to build. There's momentum, and there's a culture that's been set that's going to propel us to huge things moving forward in this program.
Coach, you seem to be very much forward thinking on the new world of the transfer market that's going to be available this coming season. And we were talking earlier about, the different types of guys who'll transfer. Some are going up, some are going down. You've got 4 guys coming from Power 5 programs to your Power 5 program. The guy that kind of intrigues me, though, is Keon White, who's coming from Old Dominion. He was a force on the G5 level. I think he had 19 and a half tackles for a loss or something last year. Tell me a bit about Keon.
Yeah, and he was a former tight end, transitioned to defensive end for them, played at a ridiculously high level, his last year playing. And the 2 games that really stood out to us were 2 games versus teams in our league, in our division, and he just balled out of control. And I think on the season he had 19 and a half tackles for loss. In those 2 games, I think he had 6 tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks. And so he's competed at a high level and even in our conference. And so for him choosing to come here is really, really huge for us, and excited about him.
Well, and speaking of the transfer market, it's kind of a whole new element in recruiting. You've already got, I guess, with the transfers and your signees, you've got about 21 scholarships spoken for, I suppose, somewhere in that neighborhood. So with those few remaining, are you looking to sign more freshmen in February, or are you going to keep those back for transfer possibilities?
No, so there's obviously some things I can't talk about specifically.
Sure. I don't want names.
that we're still in the hunt for and still talking to for January, and then also throughout the next signing period, because I think about 80% of all FBS guys will probably sign in this early signing period. Then there'll be another 20% how they fit into our program. And then I think there's going to be another wave as spring ball progresses and those kind of things. So the biggest thing we've learned this throughout COVID is you have to be fluid. You have to be adaptable. You have to be open-minded. And so we would just continue to develop through that as well. It's funny, Kenyatta Watson just texted me as we're on here. So that's pretty cool.
Is he listening or watching to the show, though? I got to know if we have any.
I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is. He hits me up a lot.
He's probably getting a lift in or getting a run in or something.
Yes. Yep.
Could be something along those lines. Well, real quick, Coach, we were kind of batting it around earlier on if the transfer element now is going to maybe give February a little bit more meaning, as maybe more schools are going to hold back in December now to see what breaks in the transfer market early, and then maybe sign a few guys that might have been signed in December in years past.
Yeah, I mean it's a fluid exercise. Everybody's learning how to manage this the best way, and just what we've got to do, what's right for our program, what's right for our kids. And we are, even though we're getting some higher rated guys, we're still a developmental program, and we want guys that come in here with the right mindset. We are not solely just collecting talent. We're going to get some really good players, but we are going to develop them. We are building a program here that we expect to have big things happen through that. So we've got to get the right guys, deep dive into their developmental characteristics, their work ethic, their mindset, their character. All of those things factor in to guys that we choose to bring into this program. It's worked out. We've got some high performers that are doing it very early, and just excited to keep developing them and then add other guys to the program.
All right, Coach, we better not keep you any longer. You got to get over to Publix.
Let that man take care of his
He's got to go to Publix and get a dozen roses. He's got to pick up whatever they got for sale in the candy aisle and take that home. So, Coach, happy anniversary to you and your wife, 25 years. I'm sure it's been nothing but marital bliss for at least 22.
No doubt. There's no doubt. It's been awesome.
All right, Coach, thanks so much. That's Coach Geoff Collins from Georgia Tech.
Thank you, Coach.
Joining us tonight here on 680 The Fans National Signing Day Special, presented by Duffy Realty of Atlanta, AquaGuard Foundation Solutions, Georgia Power, Fox 5 Atlanta, Academy Sports and Outdoors. And guys, Coach Collins, he's the right guy, I think, don't you believe, to come in and do the transition of the Paul Johnson style, which was going to entail an entire roster and culture remake to make it effective. You need a guy like that who's magnetic, who can bring in the players.